Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we're down here in beautiful Falmouth on this lovely Axopar 28. She's a 2022 boat which we supplied new. She's in great condition and we can't wait to show you all the extras on board this boat. So join me for a full tour. Right, so you've seen that great drone photography and video. She looks superb down here in beautiful Falmouth, as we said in that intro. What we're going to do now is start running through all of the actual extras on board this particular Axopar 28. You can see here, to start, we're up in the bow. If I start at the very forward end, we've got the lift-up lid here, and this has got the electric anchor winch. So with Axopars, there are certain features and extras that are really quite vital, and the windlass, the electric windlass, is definitely one of those. Controlled from the unit up forward, and can also be done from the wireless remote, which is back in the cockpit. Stainless steel anchor. This boat has been very lightly used, as we've mentioned in the original opening of the video. You can tell just that anchor's probably only been fused a handful of times. Underneath here, if you've watched other Axopar videos, you'll know what's here, but we've got a waterproof compartment here. We've got the legs for the table, the short legs and the long legs as I call it, and then we've also got the battery charger in there. I won't go through every single standard feature, but I'll just try and point out the extras on board this actual boat. We've unlocked these lids this morning just to try and make things simpler, but under this front one here we've got access to the bow thruster isolator in there, and the bow thruster battery is also in there. But a really useful compartment. You can see here on this boat we've got a couple of extra lines in there and just really nice storage features. Shore power connector there, and then an area which we don't often show on the videos. If I just lift this one up, underneath here we've got the holding tank in there, so that's access to the holding tank and the actual bow thruster. It's an area which you don't really use day to day, but it's nice being able to have that direct access to it. This boat is a Brabus line boat, so you'll notice everywhere we've got the black satin finish to the rails, we've got the black speaker grills and the black rubbing strip as well. Really sets off the style of the boat, and we know how popular this Brabus line feature is. If you do want to use this forward area for dining, they've got the table which goes here, which we'll try and grab a photo of in a minute, so we'll ask Nathan to edit that in. And there is also then an infill for the sun pad here as well, so you can make this into a full sun pad, making this a lovely day bed area. This being a Mark III, effectively, Axopar 28, so the very latest edition of the 28s that they built. You've got the gully here wrapping all the way around on the cabin roof. What's great about this is it works not only as a drain feature, but also as a handhold. So you can see here, as I'm walking around the boat, it's really nice to be able to use that as a handrail, and that's a really nice addition to this latest generation Axopar 28s. If I open up the loo now, as I said a minute ago, no doubt if you've looked, in fact I'm going to grab the camera from Nathan in a minute, if you have been looking at Axopar 28 videos, you'll know what you're going to see in here. But just look how clean this boat is. I've already referenced a couple of times at how well this boat's been kept and how clean it is, but looking in here is it's really, really nice condition. It smells fresh, it looks fresh, and it goes back to the owner really looking after her. So in here we've got electric flush toilet, also we've got the sink there, lighting, and then underneath here we've got a 240 volt socket. It's European style, but we can put an adapter in there, no problem, and make that into a UK style. Waste pump out here on the deck, although there isn't a macerator pump to pump the waste out to sea if you want to. If I just come down here now on the starboard side, you can see that black rail, as I mentioned, running all the way down here. And then if you land here on top of the aft cabin, which is another great feature on board this actual boat, you've got this really nice sunbathing space here. So we've got sunbathing here, a permanent feature. So if you're using that forward section in the bow as dining or seating, you've then got your sun pad here. This boat's got the additional sun pad cushions for the fender lockers. This was launched or introduced into Axopars quite late actually in the build cycle, but it's a really nice feature. Just makes much more use of this space. Here we've got the fender lockers, aptly storing our fenders, which we've just taken off to come out to sea. But as with that loo, all very, very clean. We've got a couple of rod holders here, so we've got the rod holder there. You've got your petrol filler there as well on the starboard side, but a really nice, sensible place to sit, relax. I mean, here we're looking back towards the town of Falmouth over there. We've got beautiful Cornish landscape, but just how stunning it is here, it really is. and a great place to keep an Axopar. This boat's been based here since new, so I have already mentioned, but we supplied her new. She's been based on the same berth since handover. Really nice to come down here again and meet the owner and take her out here, but it's just in really great condition. Port side, we've got another fender box, as you know, and a good example here, if I just take the camera from Nathan, just how you can use these fender boxes. Lots of cleaning gear in there. You've got your manual bilge pump in there as well. So that's just to stick the handle in there, and you can pump away if you ever needed to. Being a Mark III 28, let's talk about other features. We've got this slightly extended bathing platform here. So on the earlier boats, this cuts the corner off there. The last edition, you've got the wraparound nosing there for the cushioning, but also slightly more room on the bathing platform itself. So a nice feature. That Mercury engine is actually on. I don't know how clear this mic is, but that engine is already running and so smooth. Every time I go on these, you sort of forget how smooth they are, but been looked after from you by the local Mercury agents down here in Falmouth, and we'll check hours, but very, very few hours, but ticking along there, lovely. So let's start looking at what we've got up top here. We've got the fishing Targa Arch. So being based down here in the southwest, there are actually plenty of tuna around now. I don't know if boats ever caught a tuna, but here you've got what we call the fishing, or what Axopar call the fishing Targa Arch. So here this allows you to store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rods there on the aft of the cabin section. And then above here we've got the Simrad radar, again essential if you are using a boat in this part of the world. We do sometimes get fog early and late in the season, so it's nice that this boat's got the radar feature on there. All of this is painted in all black, or satin black, with the anodised finish, so being a Brabus boat. And then you've got the Axopar roof bars there as well, so you can see those Brabus line roof bars there. This year the client updated the covering, so we've got the electric roof option, which comes as standard from the factory with an over cover, but this is a much, much nicer version which the owners had fitted locally, much more premium quality there, and that's nice, and that's just designed really to protect that canvas on top of the electric roof. If I give the camera back to Nathan a second, I think what we'll do now is we'll go into the cabin and start looking at some of the points in there. And yeah, keep watching. It's a bit warmer in here. It's not the warmest of days down here in October in Falmouth, but you can see here, this is what makes these Axopar cabin boats so great. So even on a day like today where it's not really cold, but it's just not that warm, you can come in here with these doors open, still plenty of breeze, but you're out of wind. So that's what makes these boats just work so well for our UK environment. In here, as with the exterior, it's immaculate. We've got this beautiful diamond stitch Silvertex upholstery. Being a Brabus line boat here, we've got the Brabus badges, the diamond stitch on the seats, all in superb condition, very, very clean. If I just talk about this area first, and we'll go and look at the helm in a second. We've got the aft cabin. We mentioned a second ago as we were sitting on the sun pad, if you remember. The access to the aft cabin, if I just grab the camera from Nathan, is done via lifting up this rear cushion. There is a bit of a knack to this. If you've been on a 28, you'll know what I mean. There is a bit of a knack, but once you've got the knack, it's very straightforward. But what that gives you in that raised position is really nice access into that double berth. We've got some of the additional extras in here. We've got the teak table, which goes behind me. We can show you that in a second with one of the pictures, which will flash in. But we've got the teak table, we've got the sun pad infill there for the foredeck. And then we've got these small fillets of cushioning, which actually are used to make the double bed that goes in the cabin area behind me. We've got the battery isolators in there as well. So you can see you've got your twin isolators, one for start, one for service. And with the lights on, the LED lights on, that is a really quite inviting place to be. I have stayed on board one of these before, and it's a comfortable place. You leave the cushion up, you've got access in and out there pretty straightforward, but it is a comfortable place and you could use that area. You might spot here you've got the heating vent, so you've got a heating vent down there, so that's an additional extra this boat has, and the controller for that is up here on the port side of the helm. The helm itself has got all the extras, so we've got the additional Fusion remote here, which is a Bluetooth system, so we've got the additional, the full audio package on this boat with the subwoofer as well, so that's the additional remote for it there. We've got the Lowrance VHF radio here, so you can see we're on channel 16 at the moment, and then we've got the glass bridge system up here, so we've got twin screen arrangement. You can see this is all touch screen with the overlay, which works really nicely. And on this side here, we've got the engine data running. So we're just in idle here, the engine's still ticking over. a bit of speed because we're just drifting, and then you can see your fuel consumption here. Vessel control, so you could got your active trim on here, and you've also got sports exhaust. If I just go down, I won't turn on for a second. Really straightforward to use, and you can also control your audio from this bit as well. Bow thruster, so we've got a bow thruster down here, so even though these boats are fairly straightforward to manoeuvre with single engine, it's always nice to have the bow thruster option. And then you've got the trim tabs here, which is this joystick, and the throttle of course is on the starboard side. This was one of the first boats I think I ever handed over with the Mercury First Mate system. So this is one of the fobs with the First Mate system, which actually has been dropped now on the 29s, and I think this is a really, really good safety feature to have, and works really well for a man overboard feature, so that you can attach to yourself, and you can start the you can actually detect man overboard using that system. For more info on that, check out some of the YouTube videos that specifically talk about Mercury First Mate. Here on the roof we've got a switch which opens the electrically opening roof, so if I just push that now, we have still got that cover on the top there, which we haven't taken off yet, but that is how that opens. So as an extra, that is an electrically opening roof. Amazing visibility through that inverse windscreen, even using a GoPro. Just look how clear that is. Imagine how clear that is using natural eyesight, but it really does give you great confidence to operate this boat. With these sliding doors here, as a helmsman, I've got great access. This starboard side cleat conveniently located, so I can quickly get a line on there onto the pontoon. So it works really well for single-handed use as well if you want to do that. These seats underneath here, in fact I'm going to get Nathan to hold the camera because trying to do this one-handed is always a challenge. If I just move these seats, these actually tilt forward. So under this side here we've got the fridge, which is of course, as with the rest of the boat, immaculate. And then on the starboard side here we've got another seat that tilts forward with the sink, and actually that's still got the sleeve on it, the cotton sleeve that comes as new. I doubt it's probably ever been used. And that's a nice way of demonstrating how nice and clean this boat is. If I just put those seats back in their lower position, you can also, if you wish, spin these seats round, these helm seats round. So by lifting the paddle, you can then turn those seats round, and they both turn so that they can then face the aft bench. With the table then in position, it works really well as a small dining area or an area to do some work, but it's a great feature to have that teak table because then you can use this area for seating. So yeah, there you go. I think what we'll do now is we'll start heading back outside, we'll get the drone back in the air and get this video signed off. Hopefully this has been an interesting video for you to see just how lovely this Axopar 28 is. As I've said numerous times, she's in great condition with that one owner, full service history. She's based down at Port Pendennis in Falmouth, and there is potentially the opportunity to take on the mooring for this boat down at that marina. We'd have to speak to you in a bit more detail about that, but see our description, our contact details in the description below, and you'll have also seen our contact details during the video. So we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and drop a comment below. See you soon.